5, 10 years down the road, if you decide to go into a similar project, you will have some case history, some support of what to avoid and what worked out to your benefit. Of course, this can be evidence for litigation purposes as well. Another example I'd quote, keep records of the legal fees you pay. Companies change managements, they're sold, they're merged, they're bought out. In such events, this is particularly relevant for services that you obtain, that your company obtains from outside service providers. You may end up paying the fee for the same service 2 and 3 times over because you have no record of having made the payment previously. And unfortunately, there are service providers who would abuse that absence of data or record on your part and would demand a fee even when they've previously been paid off. Another very relevant feat to record keeping is fatal accidents. This is extremely important for businesses whose line of work by its very nature involves risk to either employees or to third parties. This is a trend that's catching on in Pakistan with a very high rate, that we're seeing ambulance chasing lawyers who file fatal accident claims or injury claims on behalf of injured people for ridiculously high amounts of money. In such an eventuality, you should have some proof that you did follow the legally applicable standards of safety, that an inquiry was diligently conducted thereafter, and some compensation was paid to the victim as well. There are companies who currently go through the process but have no written record of ever having gone through this, which tends to weaken their case if it's ever taken to litigation. I've skipped point number 4, which I think kind of feeds into the 5th one, which is panel of lawyers. Your panel of lawyers should be like a box of chocolates, meaning you should have lawyers with varying experience, varying skill set, areas of expertise, and fees, even if they're at the same experience level, a fee set that can be anywhere from 5,000 per lawsuit to as high as 5 million per lawsuit. This is essential. Your in-house counsel plays an important role in this. I've noticed that most companies have fee schedules for some reason. Let me quote an example. They'll say, well, if we get hit with a lawsuit that's pending before a district judge, the fee that we'll pay will be 60,000. If it's before the High Court, the fee will be 100,000. This is the biggest money bleeder you can potentially have in terms of litigation. I've seen lawsuits that are worth 700 rupees. Does it really make sense for you to pay 60,000 for a lawsuit that costs you 700 rupees? Then again, you may be hit with a lawsuit whose value is 100 million. No self-respecting professional who's capable of handling a lawsuit of such large value would be willing to do it for you for 100,000. So these schedules in effect are harming you more than they're helping you. A better method of dealing with setting fees and picking your external legal counsel would be, you look at the issue you're faced with. Is it something that can recur, let's say a service matter, or is it a one-time thing? Look at the amount of money involved. If it's a large sum of money, you may want to go with someone who's more experienced in such matters. And you look at the complexity of issues. By complexity, I mean these are more on the constitutional side, which can heavily impact the nature of your business or the way you do business. If any of these factors are involved, you need a senior, well-known, skilled counsel. Having said that, I will also give you the flip side of the coin, that pricier is not always better. As an example, one of my previous employers got hit with a series of lawsuits by a disgruntled contractor. The other side was being represented by one of our most well-known counsels in the country, who was charging a fee of about 10 million per case. Our lawyer was charging a tenth of that. But with the right strategy and with the right effort, we won all of those lawsuits in a short span of 2 years. Those of you who are involved with litigation or have ever been hit with commercial litigation would know that 2 years at the High Court level is almost unheard of. So it has to do with how you manage it. It doesn't really necessarily have to be a big name for you to win a lawsuit. Fee schedules I've already discussed. that these have to be well thought out and are not really helpful. The fee you pay to your legal counsel should be justified by the complexity of the issue at hand and by the skill set and the experience of the counsel. Managing external counsels, that's primarily the job of your in-house counsel. The external legal representation that you get is only as good as the information you provide to your external counsel. The typical way we handle our external counsels here in Pakistan, unfortunately, is we pay the fee in advance, we hand him a file, and then we wait for him to work a miracle or let us know when we won the case. That's the worst way of handling any piece of litigation, whether it's big or small. The best way is you shortlist at least 2 possible external counsels who could assist you on the matter, meet with them, convey your commercial concerns, your priorities and your sensitivities, and how crucial it is for you to settle or to win the dispute. You also get a fair idea of how they intend to approach the case. It should not be reactive litigation where your counsel is merely responding or defending everything that the other side's counsel does. He should have a proper legal strategy on dealing with your dispute and should advise you on that. If you're comfortable with the feedback you're getting, then you may engage that counsel, but you will have to walk him through the process. It's not essential that the counsel you engage is also familiar with how your industry or how your organization operates. That's where the legal counsel will act. The legal counsel, or alternately, I also understand that there are CFOs or other commercial officers who interact with external counsels. Whoever it is will have to take the time to timely provide all records and to consistently convey the company's interests and pursue the case with the external counsel to ensure that the matter is diligently followed. You must appreciate that to the external counsel, you're one of many, but to you, your case is the most important. He or she will only give it the importance you attach to it. So you must be there assisting them, and if it's a high-value commercial litigation, perhaps even attend each hearing rather than waiting for them to come back and tell you whatever happened in the courts. I will wrap it up at that. I believe we're short of time. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate all of it.
Thank you so much, and indeed much of that sounded like common sense, but as you say, the time we realize that nobody is employing that common sense is when it all goes horribly wrong and they realize they've done none of that. So I think some very, very valuable information there that, as you can save us a lot of money and deliver a much better product and indeed help everybody. Mr. Khalid Rahman, if I can please have him join us here, the Vice President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan, just to present the plaque to SAIMA KHATTAK from Siemens. Thank you so much, and we really, really appreciate you being here.